Hi, so we are going to work on Bluetooth tethering tonight. We're going to look at Bluetooth tethering, specifically my rig and my iPhone. So before you actually start down the path of Bluetooth tethering, there's a couple things you want to make sure that you are aware of. First and foremost, does your cell phone plan provide a hotspot and tethering capabilities? Not all of them do. Some of them charge extra, some of them limit the data on it, some of them only allow it on certain types of Androids, certain types of situations. So make sure you check with your cell phone provider on what your particular cell phone plan allows for hotspot use. And if you need to change cell phone plans, it might be worth it. So the other part of Bluetooth tethering, before you go about the steps that are on this Bluetooth tethering page, is you want to make sure that you had run your setup script to include the BT-Mac flag. And you're probably sitting there going, what's the BT-Mac flag? Well, you can do cat run again. If you're on dev branch, these shortcuts are programmed in. So if you install dev branch, you can push cat run again. Oh, I have to log in first. Okay, sorry about that brain fart there. Let's get me all logged in. Okay, this will be a lot more successful now that I'm logged in. Cat run again. You can see here's what I used when I have that command. I can see what I used to build my rig. In other words, build my loop, my setup script. This is the BT-Mac flag. It's a dash, here's the other dash over there, dash BT-Mac, and then what is actually the Bluetooth MAC address for my phone. We put that in, we ran the setup script with that. If you developed on dev branch, you would probably want to do cd my OpenAPS. If you aren't already in the OpenAPS, you'd want to get into it. But if you're already in it, that's not a big deal. And you can do cat orfo-runagain.sh. This is where it's stored. It will give you the same response back. You can see it. So if you installed master, and if you're wondering what I mean by did you install master or dev, you should remember it, but basically this step right here, this step 1 where you cloned and pull ORF0, if you pulled the master right here, you need to have run your setup script using this command down here. If you didn't and you use this one on master, then you're going to have to rerun your script. Basically you can pull it up and you can add this script to it, or you can just redo the whole thing. If you did dev and you answered yes to the Bluetooth and you gave your MAC address, it should be saved in there and you should be fine. Now the reason why it's important to have this part in your run again script is because it creates a line in the scheduler, which is called crontab, or cron. It creates a line on there that basically tells your rig when it can't find a known Wi-Fi connection to go look for your phone. So that's what this does. If your phone is not set up using that BT-Mac flag during the setup script, you have to run it with the setup script. If you don't, this line does not automatically get created. And so your phone and rig, even though they may be paired together, they won't actually go and find each other. And so the same goes for if you get a new phone and you go through all these steps on this page to pair your phone. If you don't rerun your script with the new BT-Mac of your new phone, it will never find it. So just remember, Bluetooth tethering is more than just pairing the phone and the rig together. It's also making sure that you run the script with that BT-Mac address and flag in it so that it creates this line in the cron tab right there. All right, so we'll exit out of that. And we'll work now on Bluetooth tethering. So real quick, you want to make sure your internet provider or your cell phone provider provides hotspot. If your cell phone provider does not provide hotspot as part of your cell phone plan, you will need to probably switch plans in order to use any kind of hotspot, which I highly recommend hotspot. It basically makes it so that your rig automatically can connect with your phone to maintain looping when you're away from known Wi-Fi's. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to start right here, Bluetooth setup. There's a few initial commands we're going to enter. I'll put that one in, copy, paste. And we actually did not get back the message that we wanted, which was Bluetooth no process found. So if I want to enter that again, I can just push the up arrow and it will repopulate with the last command. I'm going to push return. This time we did get the right response, so that's great. You can keep entering this command as much as you want. You can beat that dead horse, no problem. Sorry, Clayton. Just keep going. Sometimes you might not get the response you want, but you can do it as much as you want. Now we're going to move on and do the next command that we need to copy paste. I'll paste that in there. I call this the experimental command. I'm going to press return. That's a successful response after it, just a number code on a plain line. If you see something about dbus setup failed, name already in use, that's a failure message. So I want you to go ahead and keep going if you got the correct one. If you got the wrong one, you're going to want to start back up at sudo kill all Bluetooth and just restart it. So basically these first three commands you just keep running through, just go all the way back up to the start until you make it through all three of them successfully. This sudo hostname command line, you have to wait at least 10 to 30 seconds or so after this one successfully completes before you enable it, or else you tend to get an error message. The error message you get is can't change local name, network is down. And if you get that, you got to go all the way back to sudo kill all Bluetooth. But we happen to have a successful message because we waited 10 to 30 seconds or so. So we're good, we can keep going. The next part of the instructions say to launch the Bluetooth control program by entering Bluetooth control. So we're going to do that. Press return. Now we're in Bluetooth control. You can see we're in Bluetooth control. It's a special area because it says Bluetooth right here and it's colored, which is really cool. Now we're going to enter all of the commands from this little box here, one by one by one. We're going to enter all those in. I'm actually faster at typing, so I'm going to type that. Power off, power on, just I can type too. Discoverable on, scan on, agent on, default dash agent, return. So that's cool, and right now it's scanning for Bluetooth devices. It's looking around. Obviously there's a lot of Bluetooth devices usually around a household, but the one thing I don't see is I don't see my phone. My phone is named Katie, and the reason I don't see my phone on there right now is because my phone is not turned on to the Bluetooth screen right now. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to go to settings, I'm going to turn on Bluetooth, and there it is. And now my phone will show up. There it is. There's my phone. That's it right there. So that's what I need. So now I can move on to the next part, which is to issue a pairing command. We're on this part right here. So I'm going to say pair, and I have to enter my Bluetooth MAC address for my phone, which I hate typing. So I'm going to go up. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to come down. And I'm going to paste it. Press return, and it says attempting to pair. And on your screen, you may or may not be able to see this with the resolution. It says pairing request. So I'm going to type on the keyboard for terminal. I'm going to say yes. And on the phone, I'm going to press pair. And now there's paired. And it says pairing successful. It gives you a nice response. So that's great. You can trust your phone by typing trust and then pasting that Bluetooth MAC address again in there. And you'll see it changed it, and now my phone is a trusted device, which is great. We can double check, triple check things and just make sure that the rig really does know that it is paired with this phone, and we can ask it to tell us all the devices that it's actually paired with by saying paired dash devices. And there it is. It says, yep, I know I have a Bluetooth pairing with your device. It doesn't mean that they're actually tethered. It just means they're Bluetooth paired. So that's good. Oh, look, there's our Dexcom. So we're paired. That's great. Let us move on down. And we have trusted it. We're paired. We're good. We can go ahead and enter the quit command, QUIT, for Bluetooth control. And we're out. So that's good. It drops us right back out to our rig. So the only thing left to do now is to test that the Bluetooth tethering will work. Because now that they're paired, we want them to tether. So before you do that, just make sure that your personal hotspot is turned on. So long as your personal hotspot is turned on, we can keep going. We're going to do the sudo kill all Bluetooth again. We did not get the successful message about no process found, so we're going to do it again. I'm going to do the up arrow. I didn't get it again, so I'm going to do it again. Ah, there it is. Let's beat it a little bit, make sure it's really dead. Yep, that looks dead. Okay, so now we can do experimental. We got a successful response, just the numbers as the result. That's great. And now the next one we need to run again is that sudo hostname. And this is the one that you have to give the little pause, the 10 to 30 second pause. So we can wait a little bit. This probably isn't long enough, but I'm going to try anyway. See, it wasn't long enough. So when it's not long enough, not a big deal. I kind of wanted to show you that it wasn't a big deal. We're going to go and use the arrow keys and go all the way back up to sudo kill all Bluetooth. We'll get that successful message again. Haven't gotten it yet. There we go. There we go. Now we're getting it. Not quite. There we go. Looks good. Fantastic. So now we can scroll back through, keep using the up arrows a few times, and you'll eventually get to that command that's the second in the series, which is the experimental command. We'll press return. Good. We got the one we wanted. And now we have to do the host name one. So let's find that with the up arrow. And if you overshoot it, you can always push the down arrow. It's basically just scrolling up and down the history of commands you've given. So I'm going to wait an appropriate amount of time. This one is at least 10 seconds. I think it's probably closer to 20 to 30. We'll kind of let it go. It's probably good now. Okay, now I'm going to try it. Drop. This happens sometimes. You just got to work through it. I'm going to kill it. I'm going to kill it. Looks good. Let's go back to experimental. That's good. Now we'll go back to host name and we'll wait for sure 30 seconds. I hate waiting. Okay, let's try again. All right, sometimes it just wants a little bit of babying. Go back to experimental. Good. We have to go back to host name. Wait it out. Yeah, I'm going to try. There we go. Success. Just had to wait a little bit longer. So that's good. We're successful. So don't give up. If you keep getting error messages, it's just a matter of time before you get the right combination. Okay, so the next one is we are going to attempt to try and get a Bluetooth network connection going by issuing this command. And then we're going to paste in our Bluetooth MAC address, which is all the way back up here now. I'm going to go all the way back up. I'm going to find it. It's all the way back up here. Copy. And I'm going to go all the way down. Paste. Return. We should be able to see it come back on my phone. Is there a blue bar? there it is, there's a blue bar. So that's a successful message, we got it connected. The next thing we want to do is start testing our internet connectivity. If this is successful, it pretty much doesn't give you any message back. It just goes to the next command. There you go, that's good. And since it succeeded, if we want to see what our IP address is of the rig on our Bluetooth tether, we can try that next command, that ifconfig. And there it is. There's my rig's IP address when it's actually on a Bluetooth tether with my phone. So that's useful, very useful. So the next thing we want to do is the last part of the testing, but in order to do that, I need to kick the rig off my Bluetooth tether. So I'm going to use this command to kick it off. I'm going to get my MAC address again, paste it. Okay, and I'm going to make sure that, oh, and it's actually already off, so that's good. So you can do that and make sure it disconnects. Sometimes that message, if it's already disconnected, will kind of put it back on for a second. You can go ahead and issue that command again just by pressing the up arrow and just making sure it's off. So just kind of a quirky thing. Sometimes it jumps off before you even get there. So we're off, that's good. And the next thing we're going to want to do is this whole line of command, which will actually shut down your Wi-Fi on your rig, not your house, or not anything else. It's just shutting down Wi-Fi on your rig for 2 minutes. And that will give enough time for the cron to run, because it runs every minute, to go and find your phone's Bluetooth, tether with it, and then it'll power back on the Wi-Fi and come off your phone. So I've pressed enter. And basically, within a minute or so, we're going to see a blue bar come across the top of the phone, and that will be an indication of success that when the rig loses Wi-Fi connection, it will go and try and find my phone. There we go. There's the blue line. So it found my phone when Wi-Fi went out and was killed. It found the Bluetooth tether. It'll stay on this for about another minute, and then the Wi-Fi will kick back on the rig, and it'll hop off my phone. So we can kind of hang out and watch. Okay, so you notice that something came up on the screen. It basically said an error for wireless request to set transmission power, set failed, blah, blah, blah. Don't worry about that message. It happens about once in a dozen pairings that I've done, maybe. It's not very frequent, but when it does happen, I've noticed it actually isn't a problem. The rig will still pick up the phone just fine when you leave. I think it's just a temporary issue. And this will eventually pop off anyway. It will come off the Bluetooth tether and you'll be fine. It just basically is an issue of turning the Wi-Fi on the rig back on. Doesn't automate as it does, and as you can see, it's already off. It just takes a little bit longer because instead of it automatically powering on, basically the RF0 online script pulls it back on. So we're good, we're set. We can see if we wanted to that the rig is back on the Wi-Fi, and in fact, you can just do that. You can see that it's actually connected back at the home router, the 192.168.1. That is not an iPhone connection, that's my router connection. It's still connected, so it's all good. So anyway, there you have it. That is how to set up Bluetooth tethering for your phone. So don't forget, you got to run the script with the BTMac flag. And if you change phones, you need to rerun your script to add the new phone to the line. If you have multiple phones that you want to pair with, I suppose you would have to manually add multiple lines within the crontab in order to do that. So just letting you know that the crontab is related. If If you have any questions about it, you can always ask on Gitter or Facebook. And anyway, I hope that helped with Bluetooth tethering. Talk to you later. Bye.